Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour, a podcast where we talk to the most interesting people in the world of pop culture. And this week we have got the guitar player from the band Suicide Silence. Super excited to have Mark Heylmun joining us. I'm always excited around when we can have somebody on and we're both able to chat with them. Sometimes just due to scheduling and whatever, we're not able both to be in the same room, but it's always nice when we can have a conversation, like kind of like a three-way conversation where we can bounce things. And there seems to be a really good flow.
Always nice to have a three-way.
Oh, I knew you were going to take it. And what lubricates a three-way better than Heartbeat hot sauce?
Oh, nice.
Oof, sorry. Okay. Forgive us, Heartbeat. Please don't drop us. But this is Heartbeat hot sauce. We absolutely love them. Check them out. This is the Ryan Ellis edition of Heartbeat hot sauce. It's called Heartbeat Motorsports. These guys are set to dominate and take over the world. It started with their hot sauce, and then it went to the UFC with Dustin Poirier, him having 3 of his own signature sauces. Now we've got them venturing their way into motorsports. Bands are starting to do hot sauce with them. There's the In Flames one. There's so many great sauces that are getting partnered up with Heartbeat and people that are partnering with them. And it's because their stuff is incredible. Everybody that tries this, Ryan, loves it. So thank you, Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Check them out at heartbeathotsauce.com and use my promo code Rockman20. My buddy Blake just messaged me and he said, hey, I used your promo code. I picked up a 6-pack. I saved a ton of money. And I picked it up usually at Metro and I saved myself quite a few bucks. So not dissing anyone who wants to pick it up at a store. Try it any way you have to. But if you want to save some money, Rockman20, you'll save 20%. And Ryan, let's thank our friends over at Studio House Designs. Let's see, what do you got going on over there?
I got an audition.
Ooh, Japanese horror. I love that. Cody's an incredible designer. Let me see the sleeves on that.
That's really nice. You know, like all those kind of details that shapeless individuals like myself really love in a shirt.
Go check them out at studiohousedesigns.com. Ryan, let's get right to this because this was a great conversation that we had with Mark. We talked about music. We talked about losing your singer and gaining another singer and the changes and the challenges with that. We talked about modern day touring. We talked about downtime on the road. I mean, we really covered a lot in this. So without any further ado, check out our chat with Mark from the band Suicide Silence.
What up? What up?
What's up, Mark? Where are you?
What's going on? Hey, man.
Oh,
I'm good.
dude, that's a background.
You tried so much harder than I did today.
But yep, there you go. JPEG. Boom. There it is.
I love it. I love it. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Well, how much time do we have with you? 20 minutes? 15?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay.
I have to look. I think a half hour.
Half hour? Oh, okay. Well, more than enough time. Cool. So I'm Jason. This is Ryan. We got a podcast called the Rockman Power Hour. Just to give you a bit of background, we're out of Montreal.
Cool.
And we're both friends that started this. I work in radio, work at a major market radio station in Canada. We also work together on Comic-Cons. And I used to be in a band called Slaves on Dope. So I have a lot of...
Oh, that's so crazy. I was just looking at your Instagram.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not much going on there.
I don't know how I doom scrolling and I was just like, oh, hey, I never knew what you guys, I never saw you guys. So I never knew what you guys looked like.
Well, we were
I was like, oh, that's the singer.
It's funny because your band came right when we were kind of on our way out the door, but we were right before kind of that style of metal came. Like we were always labeled new metal, but we weren't really new metal. We were kind of did our own thing, but we got lumped into that Limp Bizkit shit.
Yep. But, I know. I had a Ozfest maybe 2001 sampler that you guys were on, and I think that's when I discovered you guys, or maybe a little earlier than that. I don't know. Yeah, there was a whole wave. There were so many bands. Yeah, many bands.
Well, it's funny because I was when I was listening to you guys, and I hate saying that, that thing. Well, it reminds me of, but there's so many elements in the music that bring me back to all the bands that I really, really enjoyed in metal, like Fear Factory, like Pantera. And it's just, everything's placed in, especially on the new record, everything's placed in such a way that it's very tastefully done. Like nothing lasts longer than it needs to last. There's a lot of switching around in some songs, but it seems like you guys go in and you trim the fat when you're putting songs together. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. I think trimming the fat's super important. I mean, all killer, no filler,
Right,
I'm sure everybody's heard the Phil Anselmo interview the money riff. Like, why not make it all the money riff? That's definitely the mentality. And also just, we're all individually, we're all influenced by so many different things, and naturally those influences, they have to find their way into the music. And it's just like the DNA of what we all listened to is just there. Garza was totally a new metal dude, and probably listened to Slaves on Dope, and the new metal aspect of it it's so there, and people pick up on it, but it's like this subtle kind of new metal. It's not like unless you know new metal, you don't really, you don't know that that's new metal. And for me, like, I like classic rock and I like good songs, so that's where I come from. So that's where, my influence comes from, or maybe a little, a little more sass,
Just because we're on the topic of, we're mentioning Pantera. I noticed that in the live video for Dying Life, it really reminded me of those amazing Vulgar videos from back in the day, where you got a real sense of the mayhem on stage, but also the togetherness that you had backstage. Whether when you're about to go on stage, you kind of like were in a circle, and you almost had a go Ducks feeling to it. What do you actually guys say to each other before you go on stage?
Oh my God. So that goes back all the way to, we used to have this drum tech who had no means to be drum teching. He was not a drum tech, but he was a very entertaining guy, and we called him Fupa. And Fupa would online, just look on his Sidekick probably while we were on tour, and he would find where we were going to be every day, and he would look up facts, and he would tell it or he would be like, okay, this place is boring, and he would come up with his whole entire fake story about things that happened in this town that we're playing in, and he would just go and give us this hype speech, basically, about like the people that founded this lands or something insane, and then at the end of it, he'd be like, all right, everybody, fart dildo on 3, just like random shit. And it's kind of it has evolved, and I'm still kind of doing the same thing. I sometimes I will hand it off to somebody else and have like a guest hands in, and that's always, we call it the hands in. We do it every show,
right?
And it's just kind of a reminder that, like, yes, this is serious and we got to get up there and throw it down, but also it's just, we're going to go have fun. So let's snap in and snap out. There's even been times where I'll just go and be like, all right, everybody. All right, everybody. On 3, just dumb shit, So it's just, something like that.
Ryan's referring to the Vulgar videos, and being someone who's spent time on the road with Pantera, being on Ozfest with them for 34 dates or whatever, and seeing, the debaucherous ways of that band. Fast forward to 20 something years later, how different do you find the culture on the road versus back then? I mean, do you find that you find there's some bands that are just kind of looking at it as like, we got to maybe take a little bit better care of ourselves, or do you find bands are still kind of going down that dark road?
I think it goes both ways. Coco, my dog's barking.
All good. We love dogs on this podcast, by the way. We have several that might come through.
So I think that it goes both ways. I mean, younger bands, if we're speaking specifically about younger bands, some younger bands already have figured it out that, it's not going to work out for them to be partying super hard, and they're looking at it as a business almost immediately, which is respectful, but also you can come from the other side of it, and it's like, if you're a rocker, you come from the punk rock, you're like, that's not as cool, the edge is kind of lost, which, depends how you feel. If you want music to be dangerous, or do you want music to be, cut like a razor sharp business and be smart and intelligent? I think the older bands, the older bands, and there's levels of older bands, a decade, 20 years, 30-year bands.
Sure.
I think there's always somebody in that band that is sober and living a sober lifestyle, and it allows for the younger bands to see that, and if they're needing to maybe seek support, there's usually that support system in that,
right?
And from what I kind of can dissect from it all, from kind of being in the middle of that, where it's like, I used to party super hard. I've had to reel it in. I've been sober. I've been California sober. I've gone through all of that. And there's usually the partiers and the people that are taking it easy. And there is a respect there. And it is evolving. I've seen it evolve. And I think that people taking care of themselves is becoming a little bit more cool and accepted. I think when we first started it like, maybe I'm wrong because I was in a haze, but it felt like, it kind of felt like it was super, sex, drugs, and rock and roll were alive and well.
Well, and, you're talking early 2000s. I mean, I remember being in the heyday of my touring, we were always the odd man out. I mean, I've been sober a long time. We were always the ones that, didn't partake, and people thought we were weird. I remember being in a limousine.
Hey, I thought you guys were slaves on dope. What the fuck?
I know. Well, that's the thing. And then, and it's funny how you say they're very, there's bands that would have a little bit of both in them. There's some bands that there was nobody that was reeling anybody in internally. It would be mostly management, or it would be booking agents, or it would be somebody else who would be reeling them in. But one of the bands I was always impressed with, and they're somewhat of a heritage band at this point because they have been around a while, was Hatebreed. I always felt that Hatebreed were really good at walking that line of being super, super entrenched in the hardcore scene, but at the same time taking care of their business. And I don't know if that's due to Jamie having such a good business sense and have a good head on his shoulders, but that was a band that was always able to walk that line, that they could do what they needed to do, have fun, but they were always showing up to what they needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think also, in the early 2000s too, and also for us when we really got involved in the industry, I mean, the balloon kind of popped money wise.
Oh yeah.
So it for us, we really got in when we never got huge money or big giant contracts. There was multi-million-dollar contracts literally all the way up to like 2002, 3, then 4, like it really hit. And we didn't get our first contract till 2007. So we were long past money. And I think when you're not making major money, it's easier to kind of reel it in.
Right.
If you have to be passionate about it. You have to be like, okay, this is what I want to be doing. And, I'm not out here just to abuse myself and live this fantasy life of rock and roll that it is slowly going away. It feels like it is. I could be wrong. There's always going to be people that, drugs are a powerful drug, people get into them. So
for sure.
But I've definitely been, I've noticed so much changing and meeting young people that it's like, wow, when I was your age, I was far beyond, blown out,
No, definitely.
And I respect it. It's super cool. It's good to see people are health aware now. I am too. So
speaking of drugs, speaking of drugs, I was watching a bunch of your music videos today, which are all excellent. By the way, anybody out there, you want to see some good music videos, check out theirs. Altar of Self has one of the funniest intros I've ever seen. It's kind of like a throwback to those like Poison videos where there's a little bit of a skit before it. And, you throw in some hammy acting, but like really, as soon as you pull out the bag and you're like, I got these. It was so funny. Can you tell me a little bit about, that video and the nature of that video and the acting you all did before it? Because I was dying laughing, and I'm not sure how the hell any of you guys got through that without ruining any takes.
Oh, well, that was the third take. And originally we were trying to get it to be a seamless thing where there was no cuts. But it didn't really work out. That video, I mean, that song is about it's an exaggerated assessment of the psychedelic kind of movement that's going on, where people are taking some sort of psychedelic and, in my eyes, kind of inflating their ego instead of what they are looking for, which is they're trying to lose their ego, which also I think is a completely ass backwards way of approaching anything. Like, I don't want to get too spiritual or weird, but it's like you need to be best friends with your ego. You don't want to kill your ego. That is who you are, and you need to have a relationship with yourself and not be trying to run away from it, which kind of feels more like what I don't know if anyone, watches this new era movement and the way like people that are drinking ayahuasca and doing all this shit. I feel like they're a lot of them are they're greedy with their spirituality, and they want to like build themselves up to be godlike.
Right.
So that song is kind of an exaggeration of someone that has done so much psychedelics that they have now worship themselves as a god.
Yeah, they become somewhat of a guru of their own guru. Yeah,
totally. And so yeah, the music video is like, all right, the lyrics are kind of hammy and kind of cheesy, and we wanted to make a kind of hammy and kind of cheesy video showing that. And yeah, so I mean, why not say I'm lost? Well, this guy told me to take this to find myself.
And it's what's great about your band, and Ryan alluded to it with talking about the videos. There are some bands that are able to laugh at themselves, even though the music is very serious and it sounds serious. But I've always liked bands that can walk that line where they're able to, like a band like Mastodon. Their music's very serious, very straight ahead, a lot of meat and potatoes, but you watch their videos and they're usually goofy as hell because they don't want to take themselves too seriously. And you guys seem to kind of be on that same path.
Yeah, I think that, for me growing up, I loved the Foo Fighters videos, Learn to Fly.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And those videos are always really good. And even, one of the greatest videos of all time, like Tonight, Smashing Pumpkins. Like,
thank you.
That's a super funny video. It's a really, even though it's like artistic and, poetic in a way and beautiful, but it's also kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I just feel like our memorable videos, the ones that make a difference are more like that. We've made videos that have the serious, connotation, and they're not as memorable. They're kind of use once and destroy. And they also, I feel like, maybe match the music almost too much and remove rewatchability. It's kind of like you can hear the song and watch it, and it all becomes this one thing. And I almost like to try to think of a video that the video is so good that you have to watch it again to hear the song.
And sometimes when videos are taken too seriously, they become funnier than those Foo Fighter videos you were talking about.
Oh, big time.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. And that's something definitely you want to try to avoid, or we want to try to avoid. Yeah. And it's also the kind of the ethos of Suicide Silence. It's like, yeah, we're a serious band, but we're kind of like positively negative. Like we want to like be positive, but there is a lot of kind of, we find the positive in the negative. And if we can make you laugh, and if we can have a video that also kind of gets you to know us a little bit better as individuals, then it's like it's a win-win, and you're communicating with your fans or supporters in an honest way, which is honestly hard to do.
Tell me a bit about Capable of Violence, and what does the NFW stand for?
Oh, it stands for No Fucking Way.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I really, really like that song.
Thanks.
Can you tell me a bit about it?
Yeah. That song was a good collaboration between us all. Writing that song was super fun. And it's a little bit leaning more in like the old school death metal direction, but it still has the kind of cliche sounds, I guess, of Suicide Silence. And as far as, the video, we came up with that video while we were filming the Thinking in Tongues video. We were on set, and we were currently in the studio recording Remember You Must Die, and Capable of Violence hadn't technically even fully been written yet, but we were like, we got to make, what would be a fun video would just be a video like a kill count video where we're just violently murdering people and making it campy though, thinking about it like not like super gnarly, but we had the idea of like even keeping track of the kills on the side of it and like get all the way up to 666 and just like make it insane. And but when it came down to it, we're like, oh, we should make a video where a fan is getting made fun of, and we just come in and just murder everyone. And and everyone's like, well, that sounds like a fucking great idea. And yeah, it was just kind of this organic progression of that. Capable wasn't even a song yet, so the idea existed before Capable, and then once Capable was written, we're like, oh, this song is about literally someone pushing you to the edge of what does it take for someone to make you be violent, to make someone that isn't violent become violent.
Right.
And unfortunately that is also we're lucky maybe in our first world that we don't have to deal with much of that, but you still can. It's kind of more from the perspective, the Ukraine situation happened right when those lyrics were starting to be written, and it was mildly inspired by that too. So there's like this serious connotation, and how do we make this a little bit more fun? Same thing that we were just talking about.
What's nice is that you guys are able to explore both of those sides, and they come off authentic, and they there's a marriage that happens that works. And a lot of bands will strive for that, and it's so contrived that it just, it's not working, but you guys pull it off. I want to also talk to you about Eddie, because Eddie's he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And now, we've had a little over a decade to really sit with him. And just, again, on the record, the guy can do everything. It's crazy. He really, really is skilled vocally. Like he can do everything. And from what I'm hearing live wise, he pulls it off too. So what does he do? For inspiration, where does he pull? Maybe I should in essence be asking him this question, but you could probably help me shine some light on it. But where does he get his inspiration from vocally? Who are the vocalists that inspired him? And is he able to pull this stuff off live, or are there some things that have to be compromised? Because I know, he's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So Eddie he's a technician. He's also a really good teacher. He knows how him and Mitch. That's how they became friends. Was a lot of these techniques were still being kind of developed.
Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah,
and it's not maybe developed isn't the right word. A lot of people were doing this kind of thing, but I think the ability to explain how to do it and that was kind of just beginning. And they were teaching each other how to do stuff. And Eddie live, he can do all of it. He totally murders it. And it goes back to why we hired him or asked him to be in the band. We knew that almost, and damn, it's hard to say this without sounding, I don't even know how it would sound, but Eddie was technically better, I'd say, as a vocalist than Mitch, but Mitch was this punk rock visceral. He came from this other place.
Sure.
And we just knew, you're probably not going to be able to recreate this insane organic energy that Mitch had, but Eddie can sound just as good and recreate it and do it really, really well. And we knew it would be a difficult thing to overcome, two completely different people, but yeah, like Eddie can do the Mitch stuff and sound a lot like Mitch, but also Eddie is completely creative and totally knows what the hell he's doing. And as far as, where his inspiration comes from, I feel like still to this day, we never really lost, that Mitch inspiration. We never lost Mitch. Like it's so hard to explain this, but it's like when you've created things with someone, you've got to know them. We collaborated so much, and then that person is gone. All of that energy that he would bring to the table and what his ideas would be, you still can feel like, well, I know that Mitch would do something like this.
Yeah.
And we all keep that. And I'm not saying that that's 100% where Eddie's inspiration comes from, but it is a big part of it, is like kind of holding it down and allowing for Suicide Silence to remain, to still kind of have this intact foundation.
And it's funny because there was a time when, and obviously, the way you guys lost Mitch it was tragic. It wasn't a decision. He was taken. But there has been this thing where, I remember growing up, if a singer was changed in a band, it was a big deal. But there seems to be this thing where people are realizing that a band is a band. It's the sum of all its parts. And there's been examples over the last few years where I've been amazed where bands have been able to continue. Like a band like Alice in Chains, obviously Jerry Cantrell's a huge part of that band. Jerry is the heartbeat of Alice in Chains, but they were able to continue with Willem, write new stuff, and he was still able to bring a vibe, to that older stuff, which is great. And now, most recently, everyone's been talking about it. I'm sure you've probably poked your head in, judging from the era of music that you came up in, seeing the replacement for Burton in Fear Factory.
Oh yeah.
This kid from Italy, from Rome. I've been watching some of the videos and I'm like, holy shit, like he's doing it. And it's interesting to see where that will go. Obviously whatever side you're on, if you're pro Burton, or there's always these people that, well, I don't know, but just purely looking at it as a Fear Factory fan, I wasn't upset hearing this. I was like, okay, this kid's good, and he can do it. And I was concerned because, again, very much like Mitch, Burton had a vibe, man. Burton was one of the first guys to sing and scream. Like, oh yeah, he was the guy to bring clean vocals into metal. I've mapped it out in my head. He was the first guy that I can remember that did it. And he was a huge inspiration, I'm sure, on your generation.
Absolutely.
So a guy like Bert, like, is on the Mount Rushmore of new metal, like, and the continuation,
Oh yeah.
To have someone like him step in, and this kid, Milo, I think his name is,
Milo, yeah.
Yeah, he's killing it. So
I watched some videos and I thought it was awesome. I'm not on anybody's team on that, because I know Burton and I know Dino, and I know that they don't necessarily get along, but I love them both, and they're both super awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that Burton can be honest and be like, you know what, I'm actually just over it, and I can't give it what it deserves. And and Dino is, how do I put it? He's a preserver of honesty as far as the art goes, and doing things, awesome. And if he says that this guy's the guy, I believe him. I don't doubt it. And then I watch those videos and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Like I was, very much sitting on pins and needles to hear the first live performances, and I was like, okay, this is coming through town. I'm going to go to this. It's going to be good. So,
I think it's going to be kind of like a situation with us. There's going to be people that will never accept it just because that's the way that they feel, and that they're stubborn,
of course.
And then there's going to be people that are like, are you kidding me? Listen to this. It's very similar to the Eddie Mitch thing. Cause I think, Burton had that energy and that organic thing, and this Milo guy seems like he's more of a technician, more of like, I'm up there and I can do all of this almost with ease.
But you talk about this stuff being seamless for some bands, then you get a band like Stone Temple Pilots, and every time they try, it just doesn't work. It's tough. Yeah. And then they got this new guy who's less of a marquee guy. He does an okay job, but it's just something not there. So it's not something that can just be interchangeable. It has to gel. And you guys, I got it, a tip of a hat to Eddie, man, because he really does. He carries on the legacy of the band with the Mitch stuff, but the new stuff is, you guys are 10 years in more with him, and he's great.
It's the most difficult thing, and I don't envy his situation. It's a very, very hard situation for him to be in. And yeah, we wrestle. We talk about it all the time. We're an honest group of dudes, and sometimes there's doubts, and we got to hold each other up and do all this together. And dude, so much respect to him for not quitting, basically. He could have easily just been like, you know what, fuck this, they hate me, because it feels like that. You pay attention to all the negativity, like it, I see him get into those modes. So it's but fuck it, man, we're never gonna quit, and we love doing this, and Eddie loves doing this too. And we're just this is only what, the fourth album with Eddie, third album. I don't even know, but like, there's so much more to develop as far as our chemistry goes. And I feel like this one was a really good step in the direction of working on things and being just super stoked at the end of it,
Nice. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, considering you guys have been together so long and have been touring for so long, not only has the touring landscape changed when it comes to venue quality, accessibility, internet, all that, be able to promote yourself on tour. I've spent some time in a van in my day, and coincidentally, it was before I got an iPhone or any other ways of amusing myself. So I read a lot of books. But what do you do? What do you do in this modern Jetsons comparison to Flintstone like day of technology? Do you do to amuse yourselves when you're in a van or a bus for 9 hours a day?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Truth be told, let's see. It depends where you are. If you're in Europe and it's summertime, go outside and go look at stuff and be a tourist and have a good time. Try to do it in the winter, but it's cold and miserable, and I'm from California and I need sun. And if I'm on tour in fall and winter in Europe, I'm probably sleeping a lot and trying to stay warm, and the show is all that matters, and I might not be as social as normal. If I'm in the US and just out and about, usually I try to hang out with people on tour and go meet who's there, find out who's, the people you kind of want to align with, so to say, who's going to be the, who wants to go get lunch, group. And really, and it's kind of at this point trying to be present on tour and not be wanting to be home or be somewhere else. It's like this tour is only going to happen once. These people are only going to be here together for this short amount of time, and how do we make it the best that we possibly can, entertain each other, and just hang out. But honestly, yeah, there's a lot of doom scrolling, a lot of hurry up and wait and sit on your phone and, just chill out. It's kind of unavoidable on in a touring situation. And yeah, you got this entertainment 24/7. I watch a ton of movies and read a ton of different things and listen to podcasts. Last tour, I was keeping up with House of the Dragon, and I'd be like waiting, and it made the tour go by so quick too, because I was like, holy shit, it's already been a week. Like I could watch another one,
Sunday night, yeah.
But also, when we first started touring, there wasn't really an iPhone, and we had our sidekicks and stuff, and that was that. But I used to read too. I used to bring books all the time. I would bring a couple of books. I remember I brought Siddhartha on my first tour I ever went on.
You're so intellectual. I love it.
I just did Ryan Downey's podcast, the one about spirituality. It's called No Prize from God. And I had forgot that I did that. It got brought up, or somehow it got brought up. I'm like, I just remembered. Yeah, the first book I brought on tour was Siddhartha.
That's amazing. It's fun when you think, being someone like you who's been on the road for a while. You've been touring for better part of almost 2 decades.
Coming up on 20 years.
Yeah, there you go. So the changes you see, like I remember first going on the road in the early 90s, like 92, 93, when, everything was different. But I remember just the enjoyment of having the first portable DVD player. I remember like Sony made this 9-inch DVD player, and I remember I bought one, and it was ridiculously expensive, but I could watch movies on this thing. And it was so fun, because I am like, Ryan and I are both big movie fans, big fans of pop culture. So it's fun when you can pass the time, and I find the more bands that we talk to, more musicians we talk to that do spend a lot of time on the road, they find a nice balance of that downtime where we are in a newer world where not everybody is obliterating themselves or up to debauchery. Like they just want to catch up on, I can't wait to get off the stage. Like I've talked to so many bands who've said, man, I couldn't wait to just get off stage, shower, towel off, get in my bunk and watch the new episode of House of the Dragon, or watch the new episode of The Last of Us, or watch the new episode of Succession. So I get that. It's life goes on, and it's nice to see that you're able to find that time when you're away.
We say, I got it from John Berkland from Bad Wolves, where your sweatpants are your quitters. And it's like, sometimes it's like even before the show, it's like, dude, I'm ready to get my quitters on and fucking chill. I
love that. Yeah. Although I've been living in sweatpants for the last 3 years, and my wife's not happy about it. Before we let you go, new record's coming out March 10th. What are the touring plans for Suicide Silence? And I imagine there's some big ones.
Yeah. April, we're on tour all of April with Dying Fetus and Born of Osiris and Aborted and a bunch of other bands on Chaos and Carnage.
Yeah.
And that is the immediate. That's basically the album release tour. And then we've announced the festivals, the DWP festivals that we're doing in the summer. And we're penciling in shows around that too. So we'll basically be in the US from, April and then all through the summer, and then everything is kind of penciled right now. We're trying to solidify what we're going to be doing in the fall and the winter. But yeah, we are going to hit it super hard, but we're also trying to be smart with what we're saying yes to at this point in time. So we're maybe not going to be touring 300 shows in a year like maybe we have in the past, trying to just be a little bit more intelligent, or try not to burn ourselves out. We have been doing this for quite a while, and we know that that's possible for us. So if we're coming to a place near you, the intention is that we want to be there and want to throw down and not be feeling like we need to. So but we love to play live. We're a live band, so we want to preserve that. We want to keep that energy there. So we'll be, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to Montreal on the Chaos and Carnage tour.
And I'm sure you've got great stories of Montreal audiences, because Montreal loves you.
Oh my God, Montreal's the best. Yeah. Montreal, yeah. It really, really is, and it's always such a it's not an unexpected surprise. It's just always surprising how much better it is every time we're there. It's just like, how does it get better every time we're here?
Montreal, Quebec in general love their metal. So when you get a good metal band that comes through and services the market, once they latch onto you and they make you theirs, that's it. You're in with Montreal and Quebec crowds forever, and especially with metal. I've seen it. Once they're fans for life. So you got to make sure you got to get here.
They're the best. Album. They're the best. They're the best. And then we go to Foofs.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There you go. You know. Hey, Mark, thanks for taking the time. The new album comes out March 10th. It's called Remember You Must Die. Don't die. Stay healthy. And we hope to see you soon, man.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks. Nice meeting you guys. And thanks for having me on.
I authentically laughed out loud. Like, I don't use LOL because I feel like I'm too old to do that, which is ironic because in a music video we didn't discuss, they're aging rapidly by the time they finish. And it was amusing to me to just do this deep dive into their videography because they always have something interesting to say, a little something funny to say, a little bit self-deprecating. And it's, after this interview with Mark, got a real sense that there's a reason why these guys have been around for so long and, are so well regarded.
Yeah, no, and it's just it further an attestation to this band that wants to continue playing, and they're one of those bands that no matter what, even after losing, lead singer, they've lost some other members during the years, but they keep moving. The nucleus is there. The new guy, who is not the new guy anymore, is phenomenal, as we talked about, and I think people should definitely check out the new record. I like Suicide Silence. I always have. I think they're smart songwriters. I think they're able to bring the best of so many genres together. And I love the fact when someone can admit to being influenced by nu metal and not shy away from it, which a lot of people want to. It was a great genre of music. And you see the screamo bands that came after nu metal and bands like Suicide Silence that were probably born out of fans of all that genre come together and put their influences together and make what, the sounds they make. Definitely worth checking out if you have not checked this band out yet. And a lot of you that are watching this are probably Suicide Silence fans. There's a reason why so many people like this band. They're great guys. So check out the new album, Remember You Must Die, available March 10th, absolutely everywhere. And, I think people are going to love this record, man. This band continues to forge new territory, but keep a nucleus going. And it will be available on Century Media Records March 10th. So thank you to everyone involved with helping us get Mark on the podcast. And we got to remind people, Ryan, if you like what you're listening to and what you're watching, please like, subscribe. We want to try to get the subscribers up on this channel because we want more and more people to be alerted when a new episode drops. And sometimes we'll randomly drop stuff up here. If you and I decide to get on here and talk about a movie like we did with Ant-Man, or if we we want to talk about Cocaine Bear, whatever, we'll come on here and we'll just drop stuff up. So outside of the normal times where we drop episodes, you might miss content. So please like and subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, and make sure you leave a comment below if you're enjoying what you're hearing, or if you're not. We're very open to constructive criticism. Thank you to my co-host.
I'm not. I shatter easily, Jason.
Toughen up. Big shout out to my co-host, Ryan Stick. Thanks to our producer, Julia Kajerski. And again, Heartbeat Hot Sauce, the heartbeat of the Rockman Power Hour. Check them out at heartbeathotsauce.com and use our promo code Rockman20 and you will get 20% off your entire order. And thanks to our friends at Studio House Designs. And we can't forget AKG for outfitting us with some great microphones and headphones to help ourselves sound, I don't know about look better, sound better and hear ourselves better. I've never heard you so clearly, Ryan. It's like ASMR when you talk.
I know.
We'll see you guys next week on the Rockman Power Hour.